Good morning, goeiemorgen en
Goede.
welkom hier. So I had to quickly remove the cats from the equation because we have got two beautiful cats and they have just decided to create havoc in the office. All right. Come sit a bit closer to me. That people will probably think we're quite for each others this morning. Oh, yeah, this morning it's all about living in New Zealand or not as a topic. And we actually choose that topic because we ran out of topics. But I know there's a lot of confusion. I know there's a lot of wondering. People are wondering, are they ever going to get the expressions of interest even handed in, or are they ever going to be pulled to be part of the pool or to get their residence? And this is not people that has got how can I say? This is normal run of the mill people. It's people that's everyday life. It's engineers. It's people that New Zealand actually really need in their arsenal of people that work in this country. These everyday people are really on this point of where they don't know should they stay here or should they go. So I thought just good to be talking about what the feeling on the floor, on floor, how can I say, floor, on the ground is, yeah. You hear a lot of stuff, on the news, you hear a lot of stuff about the minister. I see I don't know if he's been removed or he's just received another portfolio as well, because the immigration minister, I saw the other night, is now the Minister of Emergency Affairs or stuff like that as well. So that's quite interesting. If you listen to radio, I specifically listen to National Radio New Zealand, and I listen to Magic Talk from time to time. Both these radio stations have got a lot to say about immigrants, and they're not saying a lot of bad things. They're actually saying a lot of good things. This is what I find quite interesting. A lot of people think that all the Kiwis doesn't want immigrants here. The problem is most of the Kiwis need the immigrants here, and you start hearing this in radio conversations these days. On Magic Talk, they have this talk show where you can phone in and explain your story and explain or talk to the radio host. And a lot of this goes back at the end of the day to Kiwis saying, and I'm talking about Kiwis saying, they need immigrants here. And these are our business people, and some of them say where they are from, and some of them say what they need the immigrants for. And the feeling on the ground is we need the immigrants, and we need them quickly. So the other thing I read in the newspaper yesterday was as well was that places like in Queenstown, where they are opening up the tourism sector now, there is a massive shortage. There's something like just 40% of the people that they normally have is available. And the hotels have now gone as far as to start poaching people from each other. And they're actually paying these people salaries that was never heard of before just to keep them or to get them coming from different hotels to come and work from them. So a bit of a positive side there as well. If you think of some of the salaries at the end of the day that have really increased tremendously, and how people are scoring out of this. So, yeah, does everybody not want immigrants here? I would say that's a big no. And a lot of people in the beginning were, especially the local folks, were negative against immigrants. But I think they do understand now that they are needing immigrants just to keep the country afloat. And we've got a big problem with that. What's your thoughts on that this morning?
I've got no thoughts this morning.
Like a funny woman.
All I can say is if I just take what New Zealand was like when we came for our look-see decide in 2016 and what New Zealand looks like now, there's been a major growth.
Yeah. And a good growth. It's not
good
bad,
growth.
good growth.
And that is, I think it's the influence of the immigrants that comes in. The way that the coffee shops looks and the way even the vehicles and stuff. 5 years made a huge difference in what it looked like when we
Yeah.
were here in 2016 and now. Even the last 3 years. I
Mm.
remember when we came in 2016, and I mean, in South Africa, we often visited coffee shops and
Oh,
had
yeah.
met each other for lunch and stuff. And when we came here, we went to a coffee shop and we were just like, really? It's just like a room with tables and chairs. There was
Yeah.
nothing about it. But the last 3 years, it's like people are really competing on
Mm.
the decor of the coffee shops and what it looks like and the food that they, look. The food was always good. The food in 2016 was also
Yeah,
good.
as well as the pies.
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
we
we're
go
not
there
talking
again.
about that, but just the way that the New Zealanders present their food and the
Yeah.
quality of the food that you get in the restaurants are really, really good. I was so surprised when we spoke to someone last week Friday. Um, it's an older lady, and she complained about the food. She said New Zealand's food is not nice.
Mm,
I
it's
never
weird.
had a problem with the food. I
No.
always thought that you really could get good value
Mm.
for money, especially in
Hey,
restaurants.
let's face it, the food is a bit more expensive than
Yes,
you
it's
would have
more
paid probably
expensive,
back home or in
but you
old
get
country.
what you get is really,
That's good food.
it looks
Oh,
good, it
yeah. Oh,
tastes
yeah.
good, it's good quality.
Mm.
I don't have a problem with the
No.
food. Yeah, so I really think we do need immigrants, and I think, as you say, I
Yeah.
think the kids was also starting to
Well, it's
realize
starting
that.
to affect the bottom dollar.
Mm,
It's starting to affect the money making abilities.
mm,
Let's face it, the Kiwis ain't stupid people. Point one, I will never think of the Kiwis as stupid people. And I think they suddenly realize the immigrants that used to work for them there's no more.
mm,
And sadly enough, it is affecting businesses. And if it affects businesses,
mm.
it's affecting the country's economy. I was thinking back to 2016 when we were here. We rented a Hatsu Sirion. Don't know if you remember that little car. We each had a big bag because it was winter time. We had a big bag. We could only fit one bag in the boot and one on the back seat.
Yes. And I think that car had like almost 300.
300,000 kilometers on. This was
Sorry.
a rental car. And when we arrived back in 2018, I thought I would buy a RAV4 because from my 2016 experience, I was used to all the country only having old cars. And I then made a conscious move to buy or to rent an old RAV4. I actually wanted to rent an old RAV4 to see how they were because I didn't have a RAV4 in South Africa. I wanted to see how they were before I bought one. And when we arrived here, the guys gave us the keys to a brand new RAV4. So that took that exercise out of the
Mm.
equation. And nice car. It was a
You
nice
know, a
car.
lot
Let's
has
face it.
changed since
Mm,
we were here. And
yeah.
if you listen to people that's been here for 20 odd years, the way that they experienced New Zealand when they
Mm.
arrived here and the way that it is now, and it's all because of immigrants.
I've got a comment made on the other side, which I can't
Mm.
put up front. Immigrants are definitely needing this coming from Adri Jansen from Rensburg. The new changes with visas and immigration applying for residency has just become too huge to struggle for some. I fully agree with that. The feeling is some is that they don't want us here as the new process, etc. is just too hard. It's a very sad as some people are going back to South Africa.
I know.
I actually heard of other people going back to South Africa as well. I heard from their mother back in South Africa saying our kids are coming home. And that's not the situation you want. And the more immigrants leave, the more problems there are left over at the end of the day. So
Mm.
yeah,
But they're not making it easy.
they're not making it easy
Mm.
now. And I think it's a period that they will go through, and I think somewhere somebody's got to come to their senses. It can't
Yeah,
go
we
on
just
like
hope
this.
it's not really too
Yeah,
late then.
yeah. And as I've always said, New Zealand ain't the country you come around to work for a period of time and then go home. It's just too expensive here to do it that way. You need to get up with a program, and you need to start earning money so you can either build a house or something like that, or build a business in the long run, and that you won't be able to do just on a normal work visa. So that is you need to have a longer scope than just a work visa if you want to really come to New Zealand.
Yeah, this is not one of those
It's not one of
countries
those
like you
countries
go
now,
to America and just
America or the Arab
for you
Emirates or
think you're going for two
mm,
years just to make money and
yeah.
bring home. That's not how New
Mm.
Zealand works. You're
Plus, I
not
mean,
gonna
to
make.
go home every often like you should do in those countries,
It's far,
Jesus, boy, yeah.
very far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
What's the one thing that haven't changed since 2016? There is one thing in this country that hasn't changed since 2016,
What?
and they don't seem to get that done as well.
Roadworks.
Roadworks. When we were here in 2016, they had this place that they were busy doing roadworks, and they're still busy with the same place.
I don't think
And
it's
they've
ever
extended
gonna
another
end.
3 years now,
I
so I
think it's
doubt it's
ever
ever going
gonna
to end.
end.
Uh, I actually think whoever imports this road cones into New Zealand must be a billionaire. Have you ever seen how many road cones there are in New Zealand? Yeah. So they use road cones, geez, like crazy. So another saying, not a lover of Minister of Immigration. You would think he will understand the whole process as he's one himself. Very sad. Yep. That's one of those things that you can't get out. This is one of those.
Yeah, the sad thing is there's nothing that we can do about
Yeah.
it. It's
Currently,
just,
there's nothing that we can do.
no.
With a new election, I think people will probably think a bit different on who they elect and so forth. Because this country needs workers at a massive rate. There has been a lot of debt gathered from the COVID, from all the COVID help that was dished out. So somewhere along the line, that has to be repaid via taxes. Let's keep that in mind. On the other side, other countries are opening up. I've received a message the other day from Australia looking for workers in New Zealand. So even they are poaching our workers down here.
Yeah, well, and it makes sense kind of if you.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's 3 hours flight from here
Yeah.
to there.
Oh,
You know these people are ready to immigrate because
Yeah.
they've already immigrated. So it's not a big thing for them just to pack up and go across the ditch.
yeah.
Like-
If I wasn't sure about my future in New Zealand,
Oh, I will
would
also
easily
go
back up and
to wherever
Yeah.
else is the new place. And that's even going to cause bigger chaos.
Yes, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the size of the snakes and the spiders in Australia? Just putting it out there, guys. Putting it out there.
But if your family is,
But
if it's for your family, you just do it.
yeah, but it's actually weird. If you look at New Zealand in total, you look at Australia in total, you look at all the snakes they have, all the crocodiles. They've got different types of crocodiles. I don't know if you even know that. They've got massive spiders. And New Zealand on the other side has got none. And we're not that far apart. It's just very weird, but okay. Yeah, so having or being in employment currently in New Zealand, I say to a few of my clients, I mean, it's not going that good sometimes for them if they are on work visas. It's really, and I'm talking about, they're being misused and they are being abused, and they are working extra long hours, and they know they can't really do a lot about it because they are on a work visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to pay school fees. I mean, this is school fees. Sad about that. That is your body putting up with a lot of extras. But if that is the way that you are going to stay in New Zealand, that's probably but the one way just to keep that and keep on doing it until stuff changes or you can get your residency. That's quite important too. I always explain a ship with 3 anchors. A ship with 3 anchors is a ship that's going nowhere. The first anchor is your residency. As soon as that is, you are way more stable. The second anchor is your permanent residency, and your third anchor is citizenship. And that is so important. Let's see if we can put this up there. The countries need workers, but they are not seeming to want the same people in the long term. That I also get that feeling, but that is only a feeling that has come around now. And with the way that New Zealand is structured and the prices and what all is going on here, you would have to have a longer playing field than just getting people in the short term. There's clearly massive problems with the picking of kiwi fruit, clearly massive problems. I've heard in Pukikoe they're picking one another. Other thing that the people also said, I don't know what they are picking there. But as well, they're struggling to get the crop off the field.
Yeah, but that's because they use immigrants that short.
Yeah.
What is that? They just come in for
a short period of time.
2
and-
months or so just to pick, and then they go back, and now they can't do that.
And in the past, a lot of these guys that travel with these little camper vans, the freedom campers, they were all over.
Yeah, and they did that.
Yeah, they did all the
they
shitty
helped with
work.
the picking.
Let's call it that. Let's call it the shitty work. They did all the shitty work in New Zealand, and they would congregate somewhere in Queenstown and help with the ski season, and then they would go somewhere else and go pick kiwi fruit, and then they will go somewhere else, and this is an ongoing thing.
And now we don't have that.
Now we don't have them.
Yeah.
We don't have them here.
Oh, I think
I got to say, it's nice driving on the roads, all this little campers not on the roads, but it is a long
not
term.
good for the economy,
long-term problem.
not good for the South Africans
No.
that wants to immigrate, or for the ones that's here and don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just going to run this banner quickly that people don't think I'm an immigration officer and give the wrong advice here. So, guys, for those who don't know me, I'm a financial advisor. I've got my own business in New Zealand. I'm very fortunate on that part. Actually, very blessed. So, I'm not an immigration advisor, so please don't regard this as immigration advice at all. So, okay. In the long run, the thought was, and I've heard that the minister and some of the other politicians as well have this in the forefront, that now that we are open with Australia, or was, we were closed again, eh?
Yeah.
The Aussies were naughty. Yeah, all good. See? So they were naughty, and we've closed that porthole again. But I think in the past, they thought that suddenly all the Aussies will come over to come and work in New Zealand to serve their own Aussies that are allowed to come in here. And that hasn't happened.
I don't know.
That's a further problem.
Yeah.
So there was no quick solution to that as well.
I don't think anything major will happen before COVID is kind of.
But even if you look at
Sorry.
you think make it.
I don't know.
Even if you're looking at the new things they want to put in there, where they want to take their health staff and not give them any raises, because that is what they have been saying. That is what they have been putting out there, shaking the industry a bit and saying, we're not going to give these people that work for DHPs any raises for the next 3 years. That is a scary thought. That's my water. That's a scary thought if you think about the fact that somebody's going to work for the next 3 years at exactly the same pay, and stuff still goes up. Price petrol goes up, food goes up. And then my thoughts as well there, and I actually spoke to a lady on the radio the other day, and she said she's a nurse. She used to work in New Zealand, and now she works in Australia, and she lives in New Zealand,
I'm sorry, Anne.
works in Australia. I should get you to the vet this morning. She works in Australia, and she flies up and down, and she's earning way more money in 4 days than what she was earning here in New Zealand for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found that quite interesting. So my wife has got one another illness here.
No, I'm just something in my throat.
Yeah, you haven't been to Australia.
No.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's actually scary.
it's quite scary.
And I
now.
know of so many people here that were looking forward to that, already have their tickets to go and visit their kids in Australia, and now they can't.
And that's closed again. I doubt that they will stay closed. I think they'll open it as soon as there's a bit of stability, or they know.
Yeah, but it seems like
One of the big cities, there's about 30 or 50 people.
I can't remember the area now, but they've got there's a cluster there that just seems to keep on growing.
Keep on growing, yeah. And some of those people, I believe, could have come over here. We could be facing our first wave, actually.
Yeah,
The first wave we had wasn't a really
Touch wood,
big wave.
it's not going to happen.
Yep, let's hope for the best. That could even make it worse than what we thought we would be earning from them coming here. So, yeah. Is there anybody else that's got any other? No, nobody's saying anything this morning. People are quiet. It's not, and it's not a nice topic to talk about, because I mean we're now talking about people's futures. You leave South Africa and you come here. You come here with all the stars in your eyes, just to find out that the stars in your eyes could actually burn you. Is that the right thing? Because you come here, and if you have to go back to South Africa, where are you going to find a job there? This is one thing that I find scary. I'm honest. I'm scary. That's a bloody scary thought, to go back to South Africa and then start looking for a job. Except if you can do your own company or business there, just go on. There was actually quite a bit of a outrage. I think it was yesterday afternoon. Somebody had a bit of remark made on one of the Facebook pages regarding South Africans and so on. But he called himself an English South African. But at the end of the day, he had quite a few facts that he put down there. And after all the wah that he wrote and what everybody was giving him flack about, he basically said to the point that once you are here and once you get residence, you should open your own company because South Africans is good at running their own companies, and that is really so. I know a lot of South Africans is really, really doing good out there. The guys that are really making money, guys that are really employing other South Africans and Kiwis and Poles and
I
wherever
think
else.
it's not just the South Africans. I think that is why New Zealand has grown so much.
Oh
It's
yeah,
people
oh
coming
yeah.
in and starting up new businesses that's looking more
Mm.
um, like what they used to look in
Oh yeah.
whatever country
And
they
and
came from.
if there's anybody from South Africa that are listening this morning or this evening at your side, the average business size in New Zealand, I mean, you know what the business size is in South Africa, but the average business size in New Zealand is between 3 and 8 people.
Mm.
That is the average business size. And then that is not a bad business at all. That is basically a very good business and with very good money being made there. So
Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing is the guys that got their own businesses, yes, they do work hard. They really work hard. I take my hat off to these guys that are out there that's really doing the good turnovers, that's really making money. But at the end of the day, you got to put some food on the table as well. You just can't carry on and not make money. So and running your own thing is actually not a bad idea. So I've seen quite a few South Africans, especially in the motor trade, but also a few South Africans in the manufacturing trade, in the steel sector, doing big business with real big companies as one-man bands. Guys that got 1 or 2 people, some of them has only got themselves and one staff, and they are doing big business with big companies. And I take my hat off to people like that because that's a big step to take, but it just shows that we are competent in any market and that we are players in that market. So that is absolutely great for me. You yourself has got a small business that run?
Not really a business.
No, not really, but she's selling all the unique stuff here in the Bay of Plenty. But even her has got a big, can I say, big commitment to people and the way that you run your business. I admire that. So I, I want to say something.
Mm.
We had these two ladies' teas now, last Saturday and the previous Saturday. First one was in Tauranga and the other one was in Hamilton. And I was there as a speaker on both of them. And I actually had a real good time. And this is at the ladies' tea. So I actually had a real good time at the ladies' tea.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll
it,
consider asking you again.
it was really good to see this. And to Yvette who gave us the video, thanks a lot for that. But it was really good to see ladies come together and enjoy themselves. I know the first one in Tauranga, we didn't have enough tissues for everybody because there was a lot of white eyes, a
Yeah.
heck of a lot of white eyes.
It was two very good functions,
Yeah.
I think, and it's just nice to get everyone together.
Mm.
Most of them were from South Africa. There were a few from other countries, but most of them South Africa.
Yeah.
In Hamilton, we were lucky for
Hamilton was a
for a
curveball. Come on,
change.
it was a curveball.
Everyone was Afrikaans,
Afrikaans, yeah.
so we could do the whole thing in Afrikaans. But yes, it's just nice to get together
Mm.
with other ladies, 100 ladies in one room, same struggles,
Mm.
same kind of backgrounds. It's really nice.
And sometimes the same uncertainties.
Mm,
That's also the other thing.
mm,
This ladies' teas went all about seasons and seasons in your life and how things changes and how you move from one season to the next season and how you should actually embrace those seasons. I was actually thinking back about that yesterday and where I am in what season of my life I am.
mm.
So yeah, but I think for us the honeymoon phase of immigration is past now. We are stuck with the reality that we've still got kids in South Africa and we don't know how the heck we're going to get them here. And I mean that's a sad reality because we miss our kids.
Yeah, well, I
Mm.
think at the moment the most people in New Zealand has got that
Yeah,
problem.
got that problem. And some people has got their loved ones, these husbands and wives,
Yeah.
all alone down here in New Zealand. And they haven't seen the kids, they haven't seen their wives, haven't seen each other for more than a year. Some of them for 2 years.
Yeah, we can just hope
That's
and
that's
pray that
hectic. Yeah,
everything will
yeah.
be
We are blessed to be.
kind of back to
Yeah.
normal by next year, I hope.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Don't even want to think about it.
Just as you think that things are stabilizing or things is getting back to a
Yes.
type of normal or a new type of normal,
Everyone thought by March this year,
then
everything
suddenly
will be back to
something like
normal.
India hits, and here South Africa's got new cases, and oh yeah, it's on and on and on. It's a
Yes, no.
vicious circle basically.
But this will pass.
This will pass too,
Sometime
but
it
I'm
will.
not getting younger as my life
I
passes. That's the one
know.
big problem. So, guys and girls, if you are out there and you are all alone, I once again just want to put my hand out to you and say, call me. This weekend we are going nowhere.
Going nowhere slowly.
That's a good thing. I'm going fishing. So yeah, I'll be in the water probably most of the time, but I see we've got a bit of rain, so I'm trying to get my canopies or the canopy on the boat to get that watertight as much as possible. So yeah,
Our rural postal deliveries just drove in.
we've got this lady driving a red high ace little post with a flashing light on top.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit, if I got time, just about how the rural postal services work in
Let
New
me see if I
Zealand.
can get this on camera. Sorry guys for this. Oh my goodness.
There she is.
Yeah,
Um,
that's our rural post lady down there.
so because we live rural, when you move into a rural area, you have to sign a little paper that the post services send you. Um, and what happens then is you've got a post box. We've got a row of post boxes there. Everyone that lives here has got one. And if you want to post something, all you do is you put it in your post box, in your letterbox or whatever you
Mm.
call it, and then there's a little flag that you lift. And then when they come in the morning, they know that they have to take your stuff. So
Yep.
you don't have to go to the post office or anything. You just put it in your letterbox and they come and pick it up. And they deliver. Rural takes a little bit longer than the normal
Yeah,
post
about
and
a
it's a
day.
little bit more
Mm.
expensive,
So
but it is so convenient.
yeah, there's no driving to the post office. Just lift up your flag, and your
Mm.
stuff goes there.
I always wondered what that
The
flag
flag
was
was all
about.
about. I actually thought it was the other way around. If they put posting that they lift up the flag, and you can see this posting here, but it's
Mm.
not like that. So yeah,
Really convenient.
really convenient. And this lady brings everything up to I think about 45 kgs or something like that.
You know, sometimes I want to help her to carry the stuff, and she says, "No, no, no, I'm okay."
And she's a thin tunny.
Yeah.
She's not muscular or something like
Of
that.
course,
So
everything that gets couriered to you if you live rural also goes to the post service,
yeah.
and they bring your courier stuff.
It's only when you get stuff that's way heavier than 45 kgs. I've ordered a little garden shed, and they brought that as well by post, and they let me know a day before the time that there has to be somebody else here to help them offload that was.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah,
Very convenient.
that was convenient. All right, guys and girls, it's Thursday morning in New Zealand, and it is winter. It's officially winter. It's chilly. It's colder. I know the South Island is getting snow already, and good snow has fallen there as
Lots
well
of
as lots of
rain.
rain, and parts of Ashburton has been closed down. And
Yeah.
I see the map to just go to the other side of Ashburton is 1,000 kilometers long, just to get to the one part to the other part of Ashburton. Presumably last night they opened the bridge across Ashburton, but they have closed that down again.
Safety
That's
reasons.
yeah, for safety reasons. That's the last that I've heard of Ashburton. Um, Somebody just saying, Jan, I can relate to this. Having a business in New Zealand is hard work, but giving you everything makes it so rewarding. Wishing everyone all the best. Guys, we can just wish each other the best
Yeah.
in this country, and support your local South African if
Yeah.
there is one in that area.
Yeah, we really try to do
yeah,
that.
we try to
look
do
for a South African first before
Yeah.
we go to anyone else.
So if you see me asking anything on Facebook for a South African in a specific field, that's because I want to support local. I support.
You get a lot of flack
I
for
know I
that.
get a
Some
lot of
people,
flack.
oh, what's wrong with the
Yeah.
Kiwis? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with them. You just you know what it's like to be an immigrant.
Yeah.
So you just want to kind of support your own people.
So why not? My own
Yeah.
people is supporting me. I will support my people. Yeah. All right, guys and girls. As you all know, I love South Africans. So enjoy your day. To the South Africans in South Africa, go and sleep and be safe. All right. See you all. Right? Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.